Hi, it's Justin here. I noticed it's been a while since I've done an updated video describing our Homekit implementation for home automation, so I thought I'd provide a new one. So as you know, as an Apple enthusiast, I wanted to base my home automation system on Apple's Homekit. But I also wanted to implement it cheaply and ensure reliability. So what you can see here is the network diagram for all of the integrations. And what I'm going to do in this video is work through each of the integrations one at a time and describe any special features. So as I mentioned, we wanted to base all of our home automation on Apple's HomeKit and the automations that HomeKit allow. In order to do that, we needed a home hub, and we chose an Apple TV to do this. In fact, we have two of them in the house now. What we did find is that our telco supplied Wi-Fi router could only support 40 devices, and this wasn't enough. So we had to update to in our case, a TP-Link router that supports up to 120 devices. And what I found is, depending on who's in the house at the time, we have anywhere up to about 80 devices on the network at any one time. So staying within the Apple ecosystem to start with, we already had some HomePods and HomePod minis that provided sound and Siri support for the house, and they were easily integrated into the system. Next, we purchased some Eve water valves for our hoses, which allow us to automate and also remote control the watering systems for our two gardens. Our 40-year-old Vulcan furnace didn't have any smarts in it at all. But fortunately, a local enthusiast had already designed a circuit and was happy to share, which allowed us to convert the electrical signal of the old furnace into the electronic signal for this Honeywell thermostat, which is already Wi-Fi and HomeKit enabled. So it integrated into the system very easily. Next, we purchased some Meros devices. We've got a number of their smart plugs controlling light fittings around the house. And we've also got their garage door adapter that both controls our garage doors and our side gates, but of course provides remote control even within the car under Apple CarPlay. Now, we couldn't find any window openers that were HomeKit compatible, so we ended up building our own. I've got videos on the channel if you're interested in these two projects. But thank you to Raven System and his software called the Home Accessory Architect. We've built our own window openers using the ESP8266 microcontrollers and a number of commercially available motors. And that allows us to automate the opening of our windows to allow air circulation, particularly when we use our evaporative cooler. Still within the HomeKit architecture, we purchased a Wifi security system consisting of 4 outdoor cameras, 2 indoor cameras, and also a doorbell, which is actually technically not HomeKit compatible. So these, at least 6 cameras, can work directly with HomeKit and provide vision within the Apple Home application. As you will see, we can expand on that using some add-ons later on. So in order to integrate a range of non-native HomeKit accessories, we implemented Homebridge on our network. Initially using a Mac Mini, but ultimately using a Raspberry Pi, and for expansion we've also put in a Conbi 2 Zigbee stick. So the first thing to talk about is the Homebridge connection into the Wifi security system. This allows access to the doorbell camera within Apple Home, but it also allows you to turn the security system on or off by device, and also to use the devices as motion sensors. So I highly recommend the Homebridge Wifi security plugin. Next, we use the To Your Local plugin to allow us to connect to the local Grid Connect products made by Dita, supplied by Bunnings. All of our light switches are now converted over to the Dita Grid Connect system, but operable within Apple Home via the Homebridge To Your Local plugin. We also accessed our home entertainment system via an infrared blaster from Broadlink, again with a plugin under Apple Homebridge. Our evaporative cooler does come with a very expensive Wi-Fi HomeKit adapter. However, for 1/10 of the price, a SwitchBot finger switch actually allows us to turn the evaporative cooler on and off. And so with an automation within Apple Home, when the evaporative cooler is turned on, our window openers crack the windows to allow for air circulation. Using the MQTT plugin, we've been able to access the 2-year Zigbee devices and a range of Aqara Zigbee devices. In all, we have over 30 Zigbee devices in the Zigbee mesh. In order to solve some other problems, we installed Home Assistant. Now, Home Assistant is a bit more complicated than Homebridge, which is why I started with Homebridge, but there are some things that just don't work under Homebridge anymore, sadly, and Home Assistant provides a solution. Now, in my case, I'm still using the Homebridge version of the Raspberry Pi operating system rather than the Home Assistant. So it's operating as a core install within the standard Raspberry Pi install. And the key reason for using Home Assistant was to gain access to our Roborock vacuum cleaner, which we've now done using the Roborock plugin. And that allows us to clean by room, but more importantly, so that we don't disturb anyone in the house, it also allows us to automate so that when the last person leaves the house, the vacuum undertakes the cleaning process. And when the first person arrives home, if the Roborock hasn't finished, it will dock itself so it doesn't disturb anybody. And finally, I've had a number of implementations for our Landroid robot lawnmower. Some might remember I started off with a Homebridge plugin, which worked well, but lost support. I then moved to the FM German home arrangements. Unfortunately, they were very complicated, and fortunately for me, Home Assistant's Landroid integration now is sophisticated enough to work the way I need it to, and so our Landroid is now operated under Home Assistant, and I'll make a video about that particular implementation sometime soon. So that's our complete automation system using Apple Homekit. Again, trying to keep costs to a minimum using the various technologies that are available, but still all integrating them back into the Apple Home app on our phones, iPads and Mac computers so that we can share them with the family and build in all those wonderful automations. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this useful. Take care, and I'll have another video soon.